Hello and welcome back to everybody on the Football Zone, and today we are doing a weekend preview. Premier League's back, dramatic international break for England, but yeah, let's get straight into the Premier League action. Tottenham against West Ham, and obviously Tottenham were on that decent little run before that terrible collapse against Brighton. Yeah, you wonder if that could have really dented confidence going into the international break. West Ham obviously had the opposite effect. So yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how these two teams stack up. I still think at home Spurs should have too much. So I'm going to say 2-0. Moving on then to Fulham against Aston Villa at Craven Cottage. And yeah, this is another interesting game. Two teams that, I think, will be relatively satisfied with their start to the season. So, yeah, it's going to be an interesting one to see how this one goes. I think Villa at the moment, their squad's probably got slightly more quality than Fulham, so I'd say they're probably favourites. I'm going to say Villa edge at 2-1. Moving on into Ipswich against Everton, and yeah, this is another intriguing game. Everton, of course, obviously got off to that really poor start to the season. I think there were signs there just before the break. Things are starting to look up now, so that, of course, is promising for them. And yeah, Ipswich as well picked up some decent results. So yeah, it's going to be an interesting one. This one, I think Ipswich are adapted to life. They'll see this as a winnable home game. I think Everton will fancy their chance too. I'll say 1-1. Moving on then to Manchester United against Brentford at Old Trafford. And yeah, this is an intriguing game. Manchester United, of course, pressure growing on Eric Ten Hag. Obviously, Thomas Tuchel's not going to be the new Manchester United manager, but there have been rumours that Thomas Frank, of course, the Brentford manager, could take over, and that could lead to a very interesting and kind of scenario here. But I think United will have enough to get the win. I'm going to say it'll be 2-0. Moving on into Newcastle against Brighton at St James's Park. And this is another interesting game. Both these teams both these teams have an interesting start to the season. I think both teams will be relatively satisfied from this one. And yeah, it's for me one that could go either way. I'm going to say, though, at home, Newcastle probably the favourites. I'm going to say 2-1 to the two. Move on into Southampton against Leicester, of course, big game down at the bottom of the table. This is going to be an interesting one, this one. Of course, both these teams, really desperately needing a win from this one, I think it's fair to say. Southampton probably more so, especially being the home side, of course, got less points this season. So, yeah, it's going to be an interesting one. But I think these two teams could kind of cancel each other out. I'm going to say 1-1. Moving on into Bournemouth against Arsenal at the Vitality. I think, Bournemouth will be pleased with their start to the season. Arsenal too. But yeah, obviously this is a game where Bournemouth, will do well, really, if they can just hang in there and, take whatever they can get, really. Obviously Arsenal coming into this one as massive favourites, and yeah, it's easy to see why with what they've seen so far. So yeah, I'm going to say it will be quite a comfortable win for the Gooners here, and I'm going to say it will be 2-0 to Arsenal. Moving on into Wolves against Man City at Molineux, and yeah, Wolves coming into this one. I think obviously with the start of the season they've had, it's not exactly the ideal game to have for Gary O'Neill, so undoubtedly he'll be feeling the pressure too. But Man City, I think they've had such a good start to the season. It's going to be a game where it's very hard to see anything other than a City win, to be honest. I'm going to say 2-0. Moving on into Liverpool against Chelsea at Anfield. And Liverpool coming into this one. Obviously had a really good start to the season under Arne Slot, sitting top of the league, but Chelsea, a team that definitely can't be underestimated after their start to the season under Maresca, really impressed. I thought it was going to be kind of a tough start to the season for them, but they've done really well. So yeah, it's going to be interesting one, this one. But I'm going to say Liverpool will probably pick up a narrow win, 2-1 for me. Moving on then finally to Monday Night Football, Nottingham Forest against Crystal Palace. And Palace, one team that's definitely needing a result at the moment, but obviously Forest, as we've seen so far this year, it's more been Forest's away form, to be fair, but they are a tough team to play against at the moment. The money they spent over the last few years, I think, really starting to come into fruition now. It's going to be an intriguing game, this one. But I think Forest at home will probably fancy their chances against their kind of undercooked Palace side. But I think Palace do have quality as well. I'm going to say it could be starting.
So anyway guys, that's it for this video. Thanks very much for watching. Remember to like, share, subscribe, follow us on our socials, link in the description below for daily football news, meme and content. Subscribe to our other channels on screen right now, that'd be greatly appreciated. Thanks very much for watching. Peace out.